What's going on, all you Pokemon fanatics? Top 10 Pokemon here, and today we will be reviewing the top Pokemon card auctions that occurred this week. Folks, I want to thank you for being so loyal and watching this series each and every week. It motivates me to keep going on with it, so I really appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up on your way out, and as I always say, don't forget to be a subscriber as well. It would support the channel tremendously, so thank you so much. As usual, we have a ton of variety this week between PSA cards, SGC cards, CGC cards, tons of booster boxes, just some amazing priced auctions that we're going to go over, so stay tuned for all that and more. Folks, let's start analyzing each and every one of these auctions, starting with this Lance's Charizard V from Celebration set that in PSA 10 sold this week for $131. Now, I believe you got this card out of a collection box, a Celebrations collection box. So yeah, got the Charizard name on it, $131. Haven't seen it come by an auction quite a while. Wanted to touch on that. We also saw from Celebrations a Gold Star Greninja card that sold for $250 as a PSA 10. Folks, I really can't honestly see this card sustaining this price or even going up because you got this card in every single Elite Trainer box, so it's kind of like the EV VMAX from Shining Fates. You know, it might start off strong, but I can really only foresee this card decreasing in the near future. And then lastly, for Celebration set, we saw a PSA 10 Charizard Holo from the Classic Collection that sold for $350. Now this card is, judging from the pop report, incredibly easy to grade. It has to be well over 1,000 PSA 10 examples, and that number just keeps growing, yet this card keeps selling as a Gem Mint 10 for hundreds of dollars. We'll see how long it can sustain that price with as many as that are being graded by PSA and other grading companies as well. Here we saw a BGS 9.5 Mimikyu V card from Brilliant Stars set that sold for $102.50. Now folks, I think this is going to be the only card we're going to cover from Brilliant Stars, only because I just did a top 10 most expensive cards from Brilliant Stars video not that long ago, so I will link that in the description. Go check it out if you haven't seen already. I review pretty much most of the graded Brilliant Stars cards that have been hitting the market. A few more interesting modern cards to go over. Here is a Galarian Articuno V, beautiful card here that sold for $222. We saw an Umbreon V from Evolving Skies sell as a PSA 10 for $309. And then we saw a Sylveon V, also from Evolving Skies, sell for $295. And then this Espeon V, one of my favorite cards from Evolving Skies, and it sold for $260. I think Evolving Skies is going to be one of those sets that withstands the test of time. It has to be in everybody's top 3 favorite sets from Sword and Shield. It is that good. And here we saw a PSA 10 Charizard VMAX from Darkness Ablaze, by far the most valuable card from Darkness Ablaze set, and it sold for $130. And folks, like I just said about the Charizard from Celebration set, this one has been graded to the max, man. There are thousands of PSA 10s of this card. It is very easy to grade, which has caused the price to suffer over the past couple of years. And then the most expensive card from Vivid Voltage sold, the Pikachu VMAX Rainbow Rare, as a PSA 10 for $421, which still isn't a bad price for this card. I was beginning to think this card was untouchable because it was selling for like at least $600 for the longest time. So $421 is the lowest I've seen this go in auction thus far. Here is a Shining Lugia Black Star promo. This is from Shining Legends set, so to speak. It sold as a PSA 10 for $400 even this week. This is a card that used to sell for over $1,000, so $400, not too bad. And then we had several cards from the Z&G Emporium auction block I want to check out. They were very interesting. Here is a Walrein EX from Legend Maker set that sold for $565. Here we have a CGC 8.5 Crystal Nidoking that sold for $450. And then a CGC 8.5 Ho-Oh from SKYRIDGE that sold for $1,570. A Crystal Celebi from SKYRIDGE got the CGC 9 and sold for $800 even. And then we saw a CGC 9 Shining Mewtwo first edition from Neo Destiny that sold for $1,625. We also saw an Unlimited Shining Charizard got the CGC 8.5 and it sold for $1,375. A CGC 9 Gold Star Charizard from EX Dragon Frontier sold for $3,950, and then a CGC 8.5 Crystal Charizard from SKYRIDGE sold for $4,316. A couple of other miscellaneous vintage cards. Here is a CGC 10 Pristine Shadowless Machop from base set that sold for $120. you just don't really see CGC 10 vintage cards very often. So anytime I see one come through, I want to cover it. Couple of cards from Team Rocket set. Here's a first edition Holo Dark Machamp that sold for $550. And then a first edition Holo Dark Alakazam that sold for $580. Big Blue here had a couple of amazing auction prices. Here is a 2006 PSA 10 Staff Blastoise cards from Crystal Guardians that sold for $1,900. And then a reverse Holo Dark Blastoise from Legendary Collection sold for $3,071. A couple of Japanese cards to go over. Here is a 2020 Players Ceremony 20th Championship card that sold for $530. And then we saw an SGC 10 Japanese Holo Lugia from Neo Genesis set that sold for $510. And to finish off the Japanese cards, here is a beautiful Karen's Umbreon first edition Holo that sold for $2,036. This card never fails to impress. And then before we get into our PWCC auction recap, let's take a look at this Misty Psyduck with the gold wizard stamp logo on it that sold as a PSA 10 for $361. Now I found this sale very interesting because a couple of months ago this card sold for over $700, so I was surprised that it only sold for the price of $361. Yeah, not much else to really say about that. And PWCC had their weekly auction. We saw a couple of amazing cards come by. Let's take a look at a few of them. Here was an OG Birthday Pikachu Black Star promo in PSA 10 that sold for $2,070. We saw a Gyarados Holo from Heart Gold Soul Silver. Not a card you see very often, probably because it's a pop of 8. But this card sold for $2,520. Here's a 500-point EV Fan Club Holo card that sold for $6,600. And then a Japanese Crystal Lugia in BGS 10 pristine condition sold for an even $6,000. And we also saw a Japanese Crystal Charizard sell as a PSA 10 for $9,300. Here's a Japanese Top Sun Blueback Charizard card in PSA 9 that sold for $9,600. A holographic Charizard card from Stormfront set sold for $11,400. And then from Neo Destiny, a first edition Shining Charizard sold for $11,400. It's crazy to think this card was over $20,000 a year or so ago, down to $11,400. Alright, here comes some heat, folks. We have a Gold Star Umbreon from the Pop Series 5 that sold as a PSA 10 for $14,400. And then we also saw the Gold Star Espeon from the set sell for $20,400. Here we saw a PSA 10 pre-release Staff Charizard card from Evolution set that sold for $15,000 even. And then we saw an SGC 10 first edition base set Blastoise sell for $16,200. And then we're going to finish up this auction recap with a bunch of vintage booster box sales. We saw a first edition box from Gym Hero sell for $9,600. A first edition Jungle Booster box sold for $9,900. Then a first edition Fossil box sold for $10,200, which is very interesting because the first edition Jungle box almost always goes for more than the Fossil box, but not so much the case this week. Here we saw a first edition Team Rocket box sell for $11,100, and then a first edition Gym Challenge booster box with a very unfortunate looking slit in the cellophane there. It sold for $11,700. Here's an unlimited base set booster box that sold for $14,400. And then we had two phenomenal E-Series booster box sales. Here's a sealed Expedition box that sold for $25,800. And then lastly, on eBay, we saw a sealed SKYRIDGE booster box that sold for the grand total of $33,600. Expedition, Aquapolis, and SKYRIDGE booster boxes are so scarce, we hardly ever see them come through in auction. What do y'all think of these prices? Thank you so much for watching, folks. I appreciate it more than you know. Be sure to use my eBay link below if you do any shopping on eBay to support the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. That's all I got for you, folks. Hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I will see you in my next one.